This is the Ramana Maharshi Self-Knowledge Satsang, a time for self-reflection and self-inquiry. Know yourself and be always free and at peace. Welcome. I'm Richard Clarke. I'm hosting this satsang. I am a seeker like you, sharing what we love. I've been blessed with years of deep teaching. I bring this to you in the satsang. The background image today is Virupaksha Cave, where Ramana lived from 1899 to 1916. It is named after Virupaksha Devi, who lived here in the 1300s. After his death, his body is said to have turned into vibhuti, sacred white ash. This was preserved and is the altar in the cave today. During the years here, it was really the start of the Ramana ashram community. A small group of devotees gathered around Ramana. One, Swami, had served as his attendant since the early days in Gurumurtan Temple. There was no food cooked here, so each evening they all went out into the streets of Tiruvannamalai for bhikshu, food donations. For them, Ramana ended up writing the hymn that's the marital garland of letters, or Akshara Mana Mali in Tamil. He first wrote just a few lines with the refrain, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, but didn't write any more. Then one day, after Ramana had walked Pradakshina around Arunachala by himself, the rest of the verses came to him, and his devotees would then chant this on their evening rounds in town. This is chanted to this day in Ramana Ashram on Monday evenings. Now, some photos. Most were taken by Carol and I in 2009. We start from across the street from the big temple. There is a small, narrow road that goes up the hill, and it goes through a housing district and continues up the hill. There are many steps, stone steps up the hill. Uh, this is up on the mountain. In the upper center, there's a clump of green trees. That's where Skandashram is. And at the same level, a little lower to it, on the right-hand side of the picture, is a clump of trees where Virupaksha Cave is. More steps up the hill. This is looking down at the big temple. Where we started from was in the lower left-hand corner of the temple, so you can get an idea how far we've come so far. And this is the entrance to Virupaksha Cave. To the left, there is a man with a broom sweeping the steps as a form of spiritual service. And this is Virupaksha cave, the building that houses it now. And inside there's a stone couch. I think this is where Ramana would have slept during the 16 years that they were here. And inside here is the Vibhuti, the mound of Vibhuti. It's shaped like the mountain Arunachala and is topped with flowers and other offerings. And this is back outside, and to the right of the entrance, then there are more stones going up the hill to to Skandashram, rather. And remember that every stone in all of these steps was placed there by a devotee of Ramana as a form of service to Ramana. Every stone. Now, on to our uh, reading from Who Am I? And now we're at paragraph 34. These are Ramana's words. Not from any desire, resolve, or effort on the part of the rising sun, but merely due to the presence of his rays, the lens emits heat, the lotus blossoms, water evaporates, and people attend to their various duties in life. In the proximity of the magnet, the needle moves. Similarly, the soul, or jiva, subjected to the threefold activity of creation, preservation, and destruction, which take place merely due to the unique presence of the Lord, perform acts in accordance with its karma and subsides to rest after such activity. But the Lord himself has no resolve. No act or event touches even the fringe of his being. This state of immaculate aloofness can be likened to that of the sun, which is untouched by the activities of life, or to that of the all-pervasive ether, which is not affected by the interactions of the complex qualities of the other four elements. Conversely, I'm sorry, it ends with all four elements. Now, Ramana expressed this immaculate aloofness that he wrote about. He would say, I have no sankalpa. Sankalpa means individual will or intention. What is it like to live with no sankalpa? The jiva, the individual personality, Ramana says, appears to exist only because of the self, and then acts based on the laws of cause and effect. Really, it appears to exist only through the projected superimposition of the reality of the self onto some seeming reality. The self, who we are, however, is not touched by any so-called event. A meditation that can be used to move towards standing as self is the witness meditation. In this meditation, one takes a stand as witnessing consciousness. As witnessing consciousness, you are the witness of all, including the most subtle internal experiences, feelings, and thoughts, even the witness of the universe. And this witness is touched by nothing. This is like in Ramana's metaphor of the movie on the screen is the witness and is untouched by the movie. Finally, even the witness is not deep enough. Who knows this witness is the question here to take you even deeper. Now, practice notes. Huaneng, the sixth patriarch of Zen, was given this role after the fifth patriarch said that it was time for him to approve a successor. He would make this decision based on a poem that shows knowledge of Zen. The man who was thought to be the best student, Shen Sui, wrote this: "The body is the Bodhi tree, the mind is like a clear mirror. At all times we must strive to polish it and must not let the dust collect." Huaneng, a young monk, heard about this verse and immediately realized that it did not express enlightenment. He formulated a new verse and had it posted on the wall of the West Hall. Originally, there is no tree of enlightenment, nor is there a stand with a clear mirror. From the beginning, not one thing exists. Where, then, is a grain of dust to cling? Where can the dust alight? In meditation, look for where within you this is true. Does your consciousness have a form? Now, on to our videos for the week. First is Swami Sarva Priyananda, and this is an excerpt from a longer talk, The Unattached Self.
Good morning and namaste, everybody. This morning, the subject is very interesting. Asangoham. I am unattached. I am without attachment. The self without attachment, this is the subject we are going to talk about. I remember reading about this young man who saw Swami Vivekananda at his own house. Swami Vivekananda say when visiting Trivandrum in 1892, before he came to the West. So he stayed at the house of this person, Ramaswamy, K. Ramaswamy Shastri. So in his reminiscences, he says that Swami Vivekananda came to our house and he stayed with my father. I was a young boy at that time. One day, Swami Vivekananda said to me, "You are young yet, but I hope one day you will reverentially study the Upanishads, the Bhagavad Gita, and the Brahma Sutras, the Prasthanatraya, the foundations of Vedanta, as also the Puranas, the Itihasas, and the Agamas. You will not find the like of them anywhere in the world." These are Swami Vivekananda's words. And then, very interesting, he said to this young boy, "The essence of all these sacred books I will tell you. Always remember them and try to live up to them." So Swami Vivekananda said, very interesting, 4 A's in his inimitable way. He said, Abhaya, fearlessness; Ahimsa, non-violence; Asanga, non-attachment; and Ananda, bliss. Again, Abhaya, fearlessness; Ahimsa, non-violence; Asanga, non-attachment; and Ananda, bliss. So Ramaswamy Shastri, he says that, I don't know how much I understood at that time, but I took it to my heart. And ever since in my life, I've tried to live up to these ideals and practice them in my life. But remember, notice the word Asanga is there. Among the 4, the third one is Asanga, non-attachment. That is our theme today. I remember when I was a novice at the ashram I joined under, there was a very great monk whom I shall not name. I'm very, very grateful to this wonderful, one of the most wonderful monks I have seen in my life, because my entire spiritual life has been shaped by him, so to say. In my initial days as a monk, all my training, the formation of my monastic life, I entirely owe it to him. So this wonderful Swami, one day I asked him, what is your spiritual practice? What is your spiritual practice? And he answered in one word, Asanga, non-attachment, detachment. He said, Asanga. So this is what we're going to talk about. Just to get something out of the way first, it is not just the Asanga, the non-attachment of the monk that we're talking about. Yes, as a monk, we walk away from our families, from special relationships with human beings, from possessing money, from owning property. That is true. So that is detachment, and definitely it's a characteristic of monastic life. But it is a practice and a principle. There's a philosophy to it, which should be there in everybody's life. I remember having this conversation with another very senior Swami who visited us, Swami Atma Priyanandaji, and we were talking about how this highest Advaita, especially the practice of Asanga, is something that actually householders, people in the world, need more than monks. Because you see, monks cut away the relationships and stay at a distance. You are already protected from many of the ups and downs of the world. But if you're in the middle of, you own property, you have money, you hold a job, you're in the middle with the relations with family and community, you are subjected to so many pressures, pulls and push. So it is there that this practice, this principle, and this philosophy will come to our help, tremendously so. So this is something for everybody. We are not just talking about the external detachment that is, of course, practiced by monks, but something deeper which can be and should be practiced by everybody. And we will see today how an investigation of this leads us to the very heart of the non-dual teaching, the very heart of Advaita Vedanta. Very important. This is one takeaway, and one word takeaway from the whole thing. Asango aham. Asango aham means I am not attached. I am without attachment. What does this mean? How do we practice it? Let us follow this thought and see where it leads us. Specifically, today's theme is based on a verse from a stotra, a hymn, a chant basically, which is popular among monks, not so well known outside the monastic community. It's called the Brahma Jnanavali Mala, ascribed to Shankaracharya, as many things are. It's just the essence of Advaita Vedanta, non-dual Vedanta, and the way and the practice put in Sanskrit verses, very simple Sanskrit verses. So today we'll just take up the first verse is introductory. The second verse, asangoham, 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 punah punah, satchidananda rupoham, ahamevaham abhyaya. Very simple Sanskrit, very rhythmic. Asangoham, I am without attachment am I, without attachment am I. Again and again, see this truth, consider this truth, meditate upon this truth. Then what am I? Satchidananda rupoham, I am of the nature of existence absolute, knowledge absolute, bliss absolute. And avyaya, I am without decay, I am immortal, without change, without death. And then ahameva, I am, I verily am. So we start with that aham eva. Notice your own presence. Let us notice our own I am. Indubitable. The first fact about ourselves, prior to all facts, is this greatest of facts, I am. It is only when this I am shines forth that the rest of the world shines forth. In the words of the Upanishads, tameva bhantam anubhati sarvam, tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. That shining, everything else shines after it. By its light, everything is lit up. What is that? It is you, the I am. The I am shining, everything else shines by the light of this I am, which is shining in all of our hearts. I am. By the light of this I am, everything in our lives is lit up. So we start there, the I am. And then we notice asangoham. What is the nature of this I am? It is claimed that it is without attachment. Now immediately, you see, when we think about I am, the first thing that comes to our attention is the body. And we make the first and the fatal error. I am the body. We are aware of it, but we think we are it. We don't even question it. But as the body, I am the body, one cannot be without attachment. The body is definitely very attached. It is affected by everything in the world outside. Food, we need food to sustain this body. We need air to breathe. We need clothes to wear. We are subjected to heat and cold. Everything. We can't say I'm detached from the world. I am the body and I am detached without attachment to the world. Impossible. You're fully integrated into your physical environment. So we go around everywhere. People are wearing masks. Why? Because the environment around this invisible COVID viruses are there. It will affect the body. You cannot say, I'm detached. Go away, virus, I'm detached. No, you are not. You are very much part of this environment. The body gets affected. I am as the body will not be without attachment. It is not the body. When we say I am, it's not the body that is meant. It is not even the mind. The mind is very much attached. What happens to the body affects the mind. Sickness affects the mind. Little weakness in the body, little pain in the body affects the mind. The behavior of other people affects the mind. Our own successes and failures affects the mind. Ups and downs. Very difficult to say the mind is by itself detached. It's not detached. It's not unattached. Asangoham will not apply to the mind or the body. It is to the witness consciousness that I am unattached. It applies there. You see, I as awareness am unattached. I am aware of the mind, I am aware of the body, and through the body and the mind I am aware of the world. But I, the awareness, which is this I am, this is awareness. It is unattached to the world, to the body, or to the mind. How this works? First of all, this I am, this awareness, this is where I expend most of my energies trying to explain how am I this awareness. I've spoken about on many occasions. I will refer you back to those Drigdrishya Viveka and Aparoksha Anubhuti and the Panchakosha Viveka, the Avastatraya, the Mandukya. Many methods, methodologies to find out how I am awareness, how I am consciousness. I'm not the body, not the mind. I'm the witness of the body and mind. These are changing. I'm unchanging. I'm consciousness. These are objects. I'm sentient. These are insentient. In all of these ways, we are asked to notice and to discern ourselves as awareness apart from the body-mind. Aware of the body-mind, using the body-mind and interacting with the world, but detached from all of them. Awareness is not attached. To explain this, I will introduce a technical term from Advaita Vedanta, a wonderful term, upadhi. Upadhi. It's very difficult to translate into English, but the examples are simple enough. Upadhi is something that is present near something else and appears to transfer its qualities onto that other thing. So the classic example in Vedanta which is given is a crystal, a clear crystal, which is colorless. And then you put a red flower behind this crystal. And once you put the red flower behind the crystal, when you watch it from the other side, the crystal looks red. Colorless crystal, red flower in Sanskrit, spatika. Spatika means a colorless, clear crystal. And rakta japa, the red flower, the red china rose, for example, which is put behind the crystal. And from the other side, the crystal now looks red. Put a yellow flower, it looks yellow. Put a pink flower, it will look pink. But the crystal in itself is neither yellow nor red nor pink. Even when it looks color without color, it is without color. It is clear. Even when it looks red, it's actually clear. It's not red at all. Even when it looks yellow, it's actually clear. It is not yellow at all. So, this exactly in the same way, I am, the awareness. When the body is present and I am not aware of myself as the body, when I'm not aware of myself as I'm not aware of myself as consciousness, and the body is present, just like the crystal becomes identified with the red color, I am, this awareness becomes identified with the body, and I feel I am the body. Thoughts, feelings, perceptions in the mind, they are present, but they seem to put themselves in this the clear crystal of awareness, and the awareness, this I amness, becomes pervaded by, as it were, by the mind, and I feel, I think, I am happy, I am miserable, I am in pain. All of these things come. The qualities of the upadhi are transferred onto the entity. So the quality, the red color of the flower, it looks as if it is transferred, not really transferred. It looks as if it is transferred to the crystal. The colorless crystal appears red. Similarly, consciousness itself, awareness itself, which I am, now it appears like I am a body. I am a mind. So the body and mind appear, and they appear to transfer their qualities. So I am tall, I am thin. The tall and thin, qualities of the body. But I am tall. I am, the awareness is not tall. How can consciousness be tall or thin? How can consciousness be overweight or skinny? Even the qualities of the mind are transferred onto awareness. Happy, sad. These are qualities of the mind, just like the red color of the flower, appearing in the crystal, looking as if it's in the crystal. Similarly, when the consciousness shines upon the misery in the mind, I am miserable. This is what happens. We are unable to distinguish between the two. Even when the body and its qualities appear in consciousness, even when the mind and its attributes appear in consciousness, I, the consciousness, the I am, is asanga, unattached. At no time is the crystal red. At no time am I the I am. Am I a body? Am I the sickness of the body, or the pain in the body, or the unhappiness in the mind? None of them, though they appear. Though they appear. An eminent Buddhist teacher of Tibetan Buddhism, Jackson Peterson, he sent me a photo recently, a few weeks ago. I think he was having breakfast and he saw this. And he took a picture and he sent it to me. It's a wonderful example of upadhi. What was the picture? He had a glass of clear water, a glass of water. And behind it was a glass of orange juice, yellow. The glass of clear water, colorless. The glass of orange juice, yellow. Now, when you look at the glass of water with the orange juice behind it, outside, in another glass, the glass of water now looks like orange juice. Because it's yellow there, and here is the glass of water. It looks, the photograph was taken so beautifully. It just looks like 2 glasses of orange juice. But it's not. The glass of clear water is clear water. There's no color to it. Similarly, the I am, which is not a body, now looks like, feels like, indubitably seems like a body. It's not a mind. Now it feels like, internally, like a mind. I say with confidence, I am tall or skinny, or I am happy or miserable. I know so much. I do not know much. I am forgetting. It is awareness, which is aware of all of these things, shining upon them. So Bill was here a few months ago. He was saying, my memory is not what it used to be. So he's 96. I'm forgetting. I said, don't be unhappy. You are the one who was aware of the keen memory. And you are the same awareness, which is aware of the failing of the memory. You are perfectly all right. He chuckled. I don't think he was convinced, but yes. I am unattached. Then only you can say asangoham. Notice this. First of all, of course, you have to go through the process of realizing that I am awareness. This sense of presence which I am. This feeling of I am. Start with that. Notice that it is awareness. And this awareness is in the presence of upadhis. Upadhis, those, in English sometimes it's translated as incidental adjunct. It makes nothing clearer. I think the crystal and the red flower example makes it clearer. Or the orange juice glass and the clear water glass, that example makes it clearer. The presence of the body-mind, when we are not aware of ourselves as awareness, we begin to think of ourselves as body-mind. And then we don't think about it. It becomes indubitable. Then we cannot say we are unattached. But as awareness, the I am, which is just awareness, even in the presence of these upadhis, which are not me, but they seem to transfer their qualities upon me, I am still unattached. Even when the glass of water looks orange, like orange juice, it is not at all attached to orange juice. No orange juice is present there in the glass of clear water, though it looks exactly like orange juice. Not a little bit of the red color is present in the clear crystal, though it looks completely stark red, but there is no red color present there. It is unattached to the redness or to the flower. And the glass of water is unattached to the orange juice or the yellow color. You, the I am within us, in us, is unattached to the body and its troubles, is unattached to the mind and its ups and downs forever. This is the meaning of asangoham. Consider light. How light, the sunlight, brilliant day out there, its sunlight is illumining everything, buildings and roads and people and dogs and trees. Everything, flowers, everything is illumined. The brilliant fall colors out there, the water, everything is illumined by sunlight. But the sunlight is not sticky. Sunlight doesn't stick to anything. Light doesn't stick to anything. Here the light illumines everything in the room. The room was empty. Now a few of us have come into the room. The empty room was illumined by this light. Now we are here, we are being illumined by this light. But when we leave, the light will not stick to us. Whatever is present is illumined by light. And the light does not stick to it. Light does not go away with it. Similarly, I am this awareness. Whatever comes, whatever appears in awareness, we illumine. I know, I see, I smell, I hear, I touch, I think, I remember, I perceive. All of this is illumination by I am the awareness. Just like light. Just as light is not attached to the objects it illumines, nor is light affected by the objects it illumines. If it illumines a clean vessel, it's not that a light has become clean. If a light illumines a dirty vessel, is the classic example in Vedanta, a dirty pot. Light illumines, shines upon a dirty pot, the light doesn't become dirty. Similarly, when I shine upon a healthy body. I am is the same thing. I am not more healthy because the body is healthy. When I shine upon a diseased body, I am, and the body appearing is diseased. I am not diseased thereby. Same with the mind, the ups and downs of the mind. The I am is the witness. I am is the witness of what? Everything. And this witness is like light. Sakshi. Because it is Sakshi, Sakshi means witness. Because it is Sakshi, it is asanga, unattached. I am unattached to everything because I am like light. Awareness is like light. Aham eva, I am. This presence which I am is like light, unattached to its objects, whatever it illumines, good or bad. It does not become good or bad. Yeah. Because light illumines a glass of water, does light become a glass of water? No. Because I am, I illumine, I reveal the unhappiness in the mind. Why should I say I am unhappy? No. I reveal the unhappiness in the mind. And you know, the amazing thing is, the moment you think like this, not a kind of trying to convince yourself, try to see that it is a fact. When you see this is a fact, the unhappiness in the mind actually calms down. It sort of disappears, dissipates. Even the body, it becomes healthier when we stop clinging to the miseries and the pains of the body. Let the pains and aches and little, today it's well, tomorrow it's not well, today energetic, tomorrow tired, or in the same day, energetic, tired, not so well, not attached. I reveal all of it. Let these things come and go. I don't stick to it, just like light doesn't stick to its objects. Just because the body is feeling sick, why should I say I am sick? Just because the light reveals, say, a puddle of dirty water, does the light say I am a puddle of dirty water? No, that's silly. I am the light which reveals the little problem in the body, little problem in the ups and downs in the mind, no matter. Notice another thing, the light is open, it doesn't resist anything. Whatever comes in the light is illumined by the light. Whatever comes to you, to us, the I am, is revealed by this I am. We don't resist. The opposite of detachment is the attachment. And attachment comes with attraction and repulsion. We try to stick on to things which we like. We try to resist and run away from things which we dislike. But light is not like that. Whatever comes within its purview is illumined by it. Whatever goes, it goes. Light does not try to hold on to something. Good morning and namaste.
And now we have Rupert Spera, and he is talking about the universe fulfills impersonal desires.
I used to believe that I could manifest things in the universe. I could manifest positive things in my life. I could manifest negative things. If I thought about it, it could happen. And it sort of rules your life. So a few times this week, you've talked about being surprised at how the universe will cooperate. So I'm trying to understand the connection between that and awareness. And I'm wondering if you're saying that if you approach people and situations from awareness, as awareness, you'll just get a response that is positive. I guess I'm just trying to clarify whether, and I don't think this is true, whether awareness will, or me as awareness, will still manifest situations or relationships or people that cross your path that are, serendipitous situations that are good for you, that you can learn from, or whether awareness is basically just, it doesn't matter. I'm just trying to get that connection, or even whether there is one.
Think of it more in this way, that the universe is obviously one whole, everything being connected to everything else, and that there are no real discrete separate objects or entities anywhere in existence. The separate object or the separate entity is just a concept, a thought, a belief. So every desire or every thought or every action that takes place is truly the action of the entire universe taking place at that moment. So if we have a desire that is informed by this understanding, and not just informed, but if we truly feel that about ourselves, that we are not a fragment, that we are not separate from the other, or from the object, or from the world, then the thoughts, the feelings, and the subsequent desires that we have are impersonal desires. They are not desires of a fragment, wanting to unite with an object in order to get happiness for itself. They are truly desires that are on behalf of the whole. And because they are on behalf of the whole, they are fulfilled by the whole. It is very easy for the universe to fulfill those desires. But if we have a desire on behalf of a fragment, the universe, I'm calling it the universe rather than awareness, because to make it more tangible and practical, that the universe can't really fulfill a personal desire. So that's why all personal desires are thwarted. We don't get what we want if our desire comes from a fragment. But it's true that if our desires are impersonal, the universe tends to fulfill them, because they are its own, it created them, and it has the power to fulfill them.
So when I would use thought to, I thought that I was manifesting positive and negative things, and then they would happen. So I'm trying, I hear what you're saying about awareness, the universe things will appear.
Yes.
But I'm...
Try to have thoughts and therefore desires that are in line with your deepest love and understanding. When you have a desire, just as it arises, before you rush headlong to fulfill it, just pause. Ask yourself, on whose behalf is this desire arising? Does it truly come from love, from intelligence, from peace? Or does it come from a sense of lack that is seeking through the desire to acquire an object, a substance, an activity, a state, or a relationship in order to give this fragment happiness? And if the desire is coming from that place, instead of seeking to fulfill the desire through the acquisition of the object, turn around and question the fragment, the sense of lack or dis-ease or discomfort from which the desire is arising. Because what you are really seeking through the acquisition of the object is in fact lying just behind the discomfort. You have to go back through the discomfort this way in order to find what you're truly looking for in the object out there. But if the desire does come from a sense of fulfillment, then feel free to act on the desire. And you can pursue the desire, and if the desire is not fulfilled, you won't mind in the least, because it was coming from fulfillment. You were already fulfilled, so it doesn't matter to you in the least if your desire is not fulfilled. It leaves no trace of longing or disappointment in you.
Thank you.
And now, Nomi, his talk is Nirguna Brahman.
Nirguna Brahman, qualityless, attributeless Brahman, is the solitary reality. That Brahman alone exists is the meaning of non-duality. It is said that all of this, the entirety of one's experience, from subtlest thought, ranging from subtlest thought to the forms of objects of the world, is Saguna Brahman, Brahman with attributes, Brahman with qualities. There are not two types of Brahman. The meaning is clear, that all this is only Brahman, and Brahman alone exists. The notion of differentiation of any kind arises entirely dependent upon the previous assumption, purely imagined, of an individual, I. All the differences appear in the midst of that which is undifferentiated, starting with the notion of I. All disturbance appears in the midst of that which is all peace, only starting with the notion of I, the supposition that there is some existent individual. It is an assumed misidentification. Likewise, all suffering, worry, fear, etc., in the midst of great bliss appears, starting with the notion of I. And all bondage has its start in the midst of immense freedom, only with the notion of I. How is this notion imagined? For whom is it imagined? The Maharshi has taught that we should inquire as to who am I, in order to realize conclusively the self as being the solitary reality. Who am I? If only that inquiry is made, profoundly so, the very root, the very source of all the illusions mentioned, of all differentiation, proves to be non-existent. With the root or cause absent, the effect is also absent. The individual and his lifetime's long story both disappear because they are unreal. Brahman remains, as Brahman alone has existed always. What is it that is real? Only the indefinable Brahman. What was all that disappeared? Nothing but Brahman. And Brahman is invariable in its nature. Inquire, know the true nature of yourself, and thus abide in that, as that. This being realized, there is nothing further to be attained. In that, all questions are answered, all doubts resolved, all illusions are gone. Abandon the misidentification, if there be any, with the differentiated body and mind and ego. And know the self, the solitary existence, just as it is.
And now we'll take a few minutes and meditate. Just breathe in and breathe out, and take long, slow breaths. And notice that you exist. You exist, and you know that you exist. Now, inquire, investigate within yourself, within your actual experience right now. What is the witness within you? Stand as that witness. The witness knows everything, but nothing touches you. You're like the screen, untouched by the movie. Just stand as that witness. And inquire, who am I? What is the nature of my identity, of this reality? Who am I? All right, we'll finish with a chant. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. If this satsang was of interest to you, I have more: a free book site, a YouTube site, and my blog. The URLs will be on the screen next. These satsangs will continue in the following weeks with this series based on the Ramana Maharshi book, Who Am I? Thank you for letting me share this teaching with you.